representative from another one of the allied organizations that we have been working with in Save Ohio Parks. Faith Communities Together for a Sustainable Future, or for short, FaCT, which helps empower communities to protect our air, water, and soil and mitigate climate change. So we have the director here, Judy Comeau-Hart, to speak on the greedy elephant in the room, the Ohio State Legislature. Welcome, Judy.
Hear me? Okay. Well, I am here today to talk about the greedy elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about, and that's the Ohio Republican Party. They are selfish, they are greedy, they are self-centered, and they only care about themselves. Let's not dance around the issue. They are not interested in what people of reason have to say about drilling under our state parks in Ohio. They are only interested in their power. They are only interested in control. They are only interested in what they believe will be substantial royalties paid to the state treasury. Our Republican leaders have made false promises about how they fully intend to investigate the 150 fake pro-fracking comments submitted to the Ohio Oil and Gasland Management Commission. Our Attorney General, David Yost, has declined to disclose the investigation's timeline or whether he will support the denial or delay of approvals before he concludes this investigation. Talk about suppression. Ohio law requires the commission consider any comments or objections submitted by residents of this state or other users of state land parcels nominated for the extraction of oil and gas. It's unclear how this commission can fulfill that legal requirement if doubts remain about whether some comments are genuine or a sham. They really don't want to talk about it. The commission is also required to consider whether the permits would provide economic benefits. Ohio State Parks generated roughly $8.1 billion for the state economy in 2017. It's hard to imagine any bid from an oil and gas company that can match that income on an annual basis. Allowing fracking takes away our state's tourism dollars. Everybody makes money from tourism in this state. Everything about fracking is incompatible with the visitor experience. Groundwater and drinking water are at risk of contamination. Air pollution and soil contamination are also concerns. Multiple studies have shown adverse health effects of people living close to fracked oil and gas wells. You've heard all of that today. Fracturing shale to produce oil and gas also uses millions of gallons of water. Oh, nobody wants to talk about this. Most of the water winds up being removed from the water cycle and disposed of in underground wells due to the high salt content. This is injection wells. Many of the streams that feed the lakes and at Wolf Run and Salt Fork also serve as drinking water sources. They could easily be affected by brine spills. Or if a fracking operation was near enough to one of the streams, they could pollute it. This is happening, folks. So why are the Republicans heading down this path? One thing is clear to anyone looking at this objectively and dispassionately. Americans in the center, the independents and the moderates who decide elections, we're important folks, have had enough of the extremists in the GOP in Ohio. Many of the GOP have learned that they can gain an audience and a following by being the worst versions of themselves, by being selfish. You know, being selfish is a sin. Didn't we all learn that growing up? It's a sin. It's not virtuous to be selfish. By not caring about due process, by ignoring all the warning signs provided by 19 environmental groups from across the state about fracking in our state parks. They don't care. They are self-centered. It is spiritually and even physically exhausting for humans to be filled with such disregard. Ohio Republicans don't have principles. They have power, and that's all that matters. So where does all this leave the GOP? They are clinging to their extremist ideology and practices on climate change. They don't believe in the science of what's happening. They believe Ohio should exploit every oil and natural gas resource without any consequence. Well, they are in for a surprise. They're going to lose big time in upcoming elections. And why? Because we're going to get out and vote. Isn't that right? They are in a death spiral, and we are witnessing it in real time. But here's the frightening thing. The extremism and the hate will become more dangerous and explosive the further they spiral down. For this, we must be prepared, and we must not falter. The great task ahead is to manage the GOP's inevitable implosion without it going supernova and swamping us all. This will continue to consume much of our energies and attention in the coming year leading up to the election. I hope you are ready, because I am.